We are live. What's happening? Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge. Glad to see everyone in here. I see the chat room is already chomping and jumping. People are in there kicking it, waiting to hear what I got to say tonight. So thank you for coming on tonight. I really appreciate you guys. I am live on multiple platforms, both Twitter accounts, 3 Facebook pages, my personal Facebook account, LinkedIn, and of course, YouTube. All right. So thank you for joining. I appreciate every single one of y'all for taking the time tonight to come onto this live podcast. It's going to be an interesting topic tonight. Really interesting. We'll be talking about the God of the Bible. Okay. The God of the Bible. And it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm going to be talking about, could that be Satan? And I'm going to bring you some very compelling evidence directly from the Bible. And we're going to talk about some of the Sumerian tablets as well and who these potential people are that they are calling God, the creator of the universe and all things, all knowing, omniscient, omnipotent, and all these things. Right. So it's going to be an interesting talk. See, hey, what's up, Jackie Catlett in the chat? The chat's filled up. Boss Hogg's in there. Jonathan Harvey. All right, it's going to be a great, great talk tonight. Giving everybody just a couple of minutes to get in here. Meanwhile, I'm going to start my shameless plug before we get going, because I learned early on, get the shameless plugs out of the way in the very beginning. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get this PowerPoint presentation started. And I think it's going to be an interesting talk. Make sure you share this video. Please share this video with everyone that you know. If you can, start sharing it on Facebook or wherever you can share it. Text it to people, whatever. We got to get people on this live. They need to be on here. They need to hear what I got to say tonight. Go get all the Christians, round up all the Christians. They need to learn something tonight. I'm going to take them to school. I'm going to take them to the Bible school they never went to. That's going to be right now. We're getting ready to crank this thing up. All right. So let me get this PowerPoint up here. And make sure we got it all set up. The sound's working good, which is phenomenal. And so now I can go ahead and share my screen again. All right. Here we go. I see everybody filling up. Make sure you guys click the like button. Don't forget to click that like button, please. That's going to get the algorithm going properly so we can get seen out here. All right. Very important to click that like button. So please click the like button. Very, very important. All right. So, of course, shameless plugs. My book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Some of the information I'm going to share with you tonight is also can be also correlated in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. It's available on Amazon. It's a bestseller in 5 countries right now. Okay, it's been translated into a lot of different languages. It's also a bestseller in Japan, and that is the QR code right there. If you want to get the book, you can go check that out. Woke doesn't mean broke. My other bestseller. It's a bestseller in 4 countries right now. Okay, Financial Literacy, 688 pages. If you want to find out more about this book and what's the content of this book and what it can do to help your life and your financial literacy and help you build a legacy and help you understand how to combine spirituality with navigating the financial matrix, make sure you go to forbiddenknowledge.com or amazon.com or use the QR code there as well. If you want to get free subscription to Forbidden Knowledge TV, get a free trial, make sure you scan this QR code or go to 4bk.tv. We have over 6,000 shows up there and counting, brand new high quality mainstream media type level production on Forbidden Knowledge TV and growing every single day. And of course, brand new documentary comes out next week, Black Knight Satellite, Beyond the Signal, coming exclusively to Forbidden Knowledge TV. You don't want to miss that. We have our social media app, $19.99. If you want to get on this app and start sharing content without algorithms, without suppression, without oppression, and you want to be able to meet people, you can get this app. It's Unite the 99 on your app store, or you can scan this QR code. We're posting great content in there daily. And of course, a lot of people know you can invest in Forbidden Knowledge, but there's only 24 hours left. Okay, 24 hours. This was 5 days ago when I made this, when I screenshot this, but there's only, if you go to the site now, you see there's only 24 hours left for you to get shares of Forbidden Knowledge. And as we're rolling, as we made our press release, we're going to roll everything into a NASDAQ, which is first quarter of the year. So this round 2 is in 24 hours. Here you can see Yahoo Finance Forbidden Knowledge is going public. This is a great opportunity. You don't want to miss out. You have 24 hours to get shares for only $1.50. If you understand what that means, then you'll do it. Okay, great opportunity. If you want to become a shareholder, use this QR code. Go to forbiddenknowledge.com. Click on Invest. Learn more. Get the offering statement. Download the prospectus. Whatever you want to do, research, study it. But if you are smart, get some shares before it closes in 24 hours. If you want to take all of my free workshops for the rest of the year, make sure you go to eventbrite.com and type the name in and go to all my free workshops and events. Okay, totally free, doesn't cost you any money. And they're all available to watch on Forbidden Knowledge TV. I stream them live on my TV network. You get that QR code right here and go to register for all the free workshops and events. A lot of great ones coming up. And we just gave away the first giveaway in a while yesterday. We gave away free App TV for people that text us. Text hashtag giveaway to 954-245-0086. Hashtag giveaway to 954-245-0086. No purchase necessary. This month we're giving away a MacBook Pro, not iMac, a MacBook Pro this month at the end of the month. So just a random person will be selected and they'll get the MacBook Pro. We just ask that you allow us to get you on a live video, take a photo, tag us, also put you up on our Forbidden Giveaways Instagram account.
Introducing Glass Office Chair Mats by Vitra, the premium alternative to cracked, curled, and worn out plastic mats. Now you'll always get smooth, easy glide because super strong Vitraza gloss chair mats are engineered to hold.
All right, we're going to get right into it, guys. Well, thank you for allowing me to spend that time with that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the this pantheon that came to Earth. There's a couple of really interesting gods, lowercase g, that came here. The first one is Anu. Now, he wasn't the first one here, but he was considered the fatherhead or the Lord God. He was over the main gods that came to the planet. His name was Anu, A-N-U. Hence, the name that humans gave them, the Anunnaki. Okay, Anu. So they still credit to Anu as the fatherhead or the god figure. He mostly ruled from space or from the sky or from heaven, as the ancient texts say. And Anu had sons. Okay, his sons were Enki and Enlil. Enki and Enlil. Now, these two play a huge part in history and a lot of the information that I'm talking about today. Now, these people, these three, are considered gods. They were deified by the peoples of Earth. They masqueraded as gods, except for Enki. He kind of had a certain level of empathy and sympathy for human beings. He even married a human being. He had sex with human beings. He had a baby by a human being. You know, one of his relationships resulted in a baby, Zuzud, who's actually Noah in the modern day Bible. And so that story is copied from the Epic of Gilgamesh. However, these people were not gods, flesh and blood people. They weren't multidimensional people. They weren't from some other universe. These were people that walked around just like we do. They put on the pants one leg at a time, right? You know, or their kilt, they pull it up with their hips, whatever. But they were knowledgeable. They had advanced technology. They had wisdom beyond what we had. They knew about genetics and how to modify genetics. They knew about chemistry. They knew about alchemy. They knew about quantum physics, quantum mechanics. They understood planetary alignments. They understood navigation stars that's left behind by some of these Sumerian tablets that pick star maps and go from one star to another. So this information left behind, it's not coming from Billy Carson's brain. It's coming from what they left behind as records for us to learn from and to understand exactly what went on in the ancient past. Now, what's interesting is these two were at odds with each other. You have on the right-hand side, you have Enlil. Now, this guy was given control of Earth, even though his brother Enki Earth was named to him. His name is E, capital A, space Enki. Now, Ki is named for Earth in ancient times, and Ea was the beginning of his name. So it became time Earth, A-R-T-H. EA for the beginning, honoring Enki, and Ki turning into E-A-R-T-H, so it became Earth. Earth is really named after Enki, just so you can know. If you go back into the tablets, you discover this. Now, he was supposed to be ruling over Earth, but there is real true information as to why he wasn't given the true full power as his brother Enlil. Enlil ended up ruling and running the planet, superseding him, and he actually had to operate underneath, as far as the totem pole go of power. He was underneath Enlil, even though he wasn't supposed to be. There's no real understanding as to why. We could never find it. Nobody found it yet as to why that happened, but that's what happened. Now, Enki was a scientist, an astrophysicist, a geneticist, and Lil was more of a battle king ruler and also engineer and architect. Okay, and so and Lil created this place called Eden in Mesopotamia, Edin. And in this Eden, it was an outdoor laboratory with this huge gate and guards, armed guards surrounding it, as evidenced in the Apocrypha text. So if you read the book of Adam, you discover that there were armed guards at the gates to Eden. And those armed guards would prevent you from leaving or prevent you from coming in. And it wasn't like you can't come here. It was like, if you come over here, we're going to kill you. And you can read all of that that's a whole other podcast in the book of Adam from the Apocrypha. It was left out of the Bible on purpose because it's too brutal. Adam tries to commit suicide a couple times. But anyway, because he's so proud of what he figured would happen and who they really were. That's in the Apocrypha text. You can get complete Apocrypha, or you can get PDF file online. I typically like downloading PDF file on the internet because you don't know what's been altered. I like to get the actual physical book in my hand. That's what I like to do. Okay. And so you have these two guys here. Eden's been created, and you have a lot of these beings coming through in and out. They've been working with creating. So they started cloning the existing hominid on this planet using this cloning technique, which created a worker, but then it failed because the worker would die early, die rapidly, and also the worker could not reproduce. Right? It's like trying to make, once you made a donkey or a mule with a horse, the offspring can't have babies. So whatever splicing technique they used to do this, the failure point was that they couldn't reproduce, and it was a lot of work to keep creating more and more of these offspring the manual way. So they came up with an idea. Her sister did actually. She said, "What? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take baby to term myself." So that was the solution. So she did what she took one of the hominids from the captured people that were in the Eden, right, in the laboratory. She took an egg out of the woman and added the essence to it, which means probably genetically modified it or added DNA, whatever it did. She made a zygote in modern terms, what we call a zygote, inserted into her womb during her menses, and then took the baby to full term, 10 months, according to the tablets, 10 months. And then Adam was born. The first genetically modified, they called to perfection human being, Homo sapien. So Homo sapien people were already here. Billions of people were on this planet long before Adam even arrived. So forget that Adam was first and Eve was first, and then they were, there were people here already. And I covered that in the previous video, but to credence to that, after Cain killed Abel, he told God that, which was really Lil, that the people out there are going to kill me. What people out there? And he told them, "Oh, they won't kill you. I put a mark on you. They know you're my boy. And by the way, when you get out there, you'll find your wife." So there were people already here. Many, many people. Adam was one of the very first genetically modified to be considered perfection because he can listen, he can obey, he can take command, he can handle the workload, and as well as he can reproduce. That was important to them. Okay. So where we have the Garden Eden situation is where Enlil comes back after some time, and he's gone though. While he's gone, he goes away. Before he comes back, Adam and Eve. And how do we get Eve? Well, they figured out that Adam was mating with these other splices that they had created, and it wasn't working. So they put her to sleep, and they took some of his DNA out of his bone, and they created Eve as a clone of him. And then they made it the two together, and she was able to get pregnant. However, they were in the Garden of Eden, which is an outdoor laboratory setting. They had timed mating sessions. It was like you were cattle. It was timed. It was okay. Now it's time for you to go mate. Go back into your area. Things like that. And they started mating him and other people they had created like bucks, right? Just from the slavery times. Well, anyway, Adam and Eve are in the garden, and they're talking to the serpent. And you have to remember, ancient times, the serpent represented wisdom, understanding, knowledge. It had nothing to do with evil. Anywhere you see serpent depicted in ancient text, tablets on the scrolls, papyruses, it's about wisdom, understanding. You see the two entwined snakes make the caduceus. That's for the medical industry, right? You still say they had the knowledge and wisdom, understanding. And so the snake that came into the garden was actually Enlil's brother, Enki. He felt bad for the humans, and he wanted to talk to Adam and Eve and let them know that they were nothing less than them. That they had the same consciousness, they had the same possibility of ascending higher levels of consciousness and understanding. That they weren't animals, and they themselves, who ruled for them, weren't even gods. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. I have to do that one time. that they themselves are even gods. Okay, pretty interesting. And what that did, that caused a firestorm in their brain. They were like, wait a minute. We are like you. We're not animals. We are conscious, sentient beings that have the capability to think, feel, and create our own decisions and free will, just like you guys do. Yeah. Oh, man. That's when the awakening happened. That's when they started looking for clothes and everything else. That was a serpent. Serpent had nothing to do with a snake crawling on his belly and all this other crazy foolishness. When Bill comes back, he obviously doesn't know this, which is interesting because I'm about to read Bible quotes in a minute. He comes back and he realizes this changed these two. They woke up. Like they really woke up. They got on close. You know, they understand that they're who they are now. And so he gets pissed off. Gets pissed off at the brother because he realized his brother spoke too much. And he violated the little rule, right? Don't engage with them and give them the wisdom and knowledge of who they really are. Masquerade as a god, you can keep them under control. But what he does is he kicks Adam and Eve out of the garden. The reason why he kicks them out is because if he leaves them in the laboratory, their consciousness is going to infect the other people that they have in there that are prisoners for feeding purposes, experimental purposes. They're going to affect they're going to destroy the whole experiment. We got to get them out of here. They're dangerous to the experiment. We're trying to make a doggone working army of slaves here. And this guy's he's going to send a conscious virus to every single one of these people, letting them know who they really are. And they're not going to want to work for us anymore. Plus, they outnumber us. So when they figure out that they have the power in them to do whatever they want, we're done. So that's why he kicked them out of the garden. After he kicks them out, Adam commits suicide a couple times right in the river, all in the Apocrypha text. And so this is incredible stuff that I'm telling you. And then you have their son of Enlil. I'm sorry, the son of one of the sons of Enki, Amun-Ra. Yeah, Amun-Ra, one of the sons of Enki, who ended up being very, very evil. Okay, like his uncle Enlil. So you have Amun-Ra, you have Enlil, you have Anu. These three people, those are three of the main characters that are being called God in the modern day Bible. A lot of their quotes and things that they said in the ancient Sumerian tablets made directly into the canonized Bible text, leaving a fingerprint behind, saying, "Hey, that's them. It's not the creator of the universe." So we're going to do this a little bit today. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. If you want to read something to you real quick, we're going to come back to the PowerPoint in a minute. All right. Okay. Is everybody here with y'all? How y'all? Can you hear me good? Everything going good? Let me know in the chat if you guys are paying attention. Somebody say Christ is king. You're going to find out. You don't know what Christ is. Christ is you. We're all Christ. And until you understand that, you're going nowhere. We are all the Christ. Jesus never said he was coming back. He said Christ would return. And by that, he meant the Christ consciousness, understanding of wisdom and ascension knowledge. It comes back to every single person's mind. In that method, the return is us. We are the return coming. Until you understand that, you're going nowhere. All right, good. You guys are getting all this text, you're getting all the knowledge, getting the voice. It's great. Now, I'm going to read something from you for you guys real quick. Let me break from this other window real quick. A couple of verses here. This is important stuff. Because I want to establish what Christians believe. They believe in these attributes of God. There's these God attributes, which I believe exist, but not for the people in the Bible. Not for the people being referenced in the Bible. But I believe these attributes are real. Let me make it clear. I'm not an atheist. I believe in a creator because I think that the quantum physics and quantum mechanics proves we're living in creation. Now, what I'm telling you though is these attributes have been given to the God Bible, which is actually God's people, and I'm going to go to you in a minute. However, let's look at some of these attributes. Okay, let me read for you a couple things here. God is infinite. This is an attribute. This is from BibleStudyTools.com. BibleStudyTools.com. This is what they're teaching in Bible study, and they're backing it with biblical verses. Okay? I'm going to show you how the Bible contradicts itself. God is infinite. He is self-existing without origin. Okay. Colossians 1:17. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. Okay. God is infinite. He is self-existing without origin. God is immutable. He never changes. Remember this, what I'm telling you right now. God is immutable. He never changes. This is an important statement. I, the Lord, do not change. You, the descendants of Jacob, are not destroyed. Malachi 3:6. I, the Lord, do not change. God is specifically saying he doesn't change. He's calling himself he, and they're calling him a he. Anytime you attribute gender to a creator of the universe, This is a major problem. That should be the first red flag when you call the creator of the universe by a gender. That's really not too good, in my opinion. Third thing, God is self-sufficient. He has no needs. Really? For as the Father has life himself, so he hath granted the Son also have the life himself. John 5:26. God is self-sufficient. He has no needs. He's nothing. This is also important. Remember this. Remember what I just said? These are all attributes being taught every single week in Bible study. Omnipotent. He's all-powerful. Really? By the word of the Lord, the heavens were made. They're starting by the breath of his mouth. Psalm 33:6. He's omnipotent, all-powerful. All-powerful. Another very important thing to remember. These are all the things to remember. I'm telling you here. Make sure you remember these, because we're going to see things that contradict every single of these attributes. It doesn't make any sense to me. In the Bible, the same Bible where these verses came from. God is omniscient. He's all-knowing. Remember the former things. Those long ago, I am God, and therefore is no other. I am God, and there is none like me. He's all-knowing and omniscient. From ancient times, what is supposed to come, my purpose will stand. I will do all that I please. Isaiah 46, 9-10. Okay. God's omniscient, which means he knows everything. Okay, he knows everything. He didn't know that his brother was talking to Adam and Eve just a minute ago in the book of Genesis. He didn't even know that until he arrived. But he knows everything. God is omnipresent. He's also everywhere. Now you see, that's true. The real God, but not the one in the Bible. You know why God is everywhere? Because every in your body it contains the spark of the creation. So every single person, every single atom and everything, which is a table, microphone, my computer, the room I'm in, the house, the carpet I'm sitting on, everything here has atoms, which means it's all God. Everything is God. And by that method, God is everywhere. But we're referencing it as this omnipresent being called He with gender that seems to just be everywhere. Interesting. Psalms 1:9-7-10 will tell you that statement. God is wise. He's full of perfect, unchanging wisdom. Remember this. Unchanging. It never changes. Romans 11:33. Oh, the depths of the riches, both the wisdom and the knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments and how unfathomable his ways. Romans 11:3. Remember these. Remember these attributes, guys. God's faithful. He's infinitely unchanging, true. Know therefore the Lord your God is God. He's a faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Deuteronomy 7:9. We'll be looking at Deuteronomy real soon here. You get the idea? You understand where I'm going with this? I hope you guys remember these great attributes. These are phenomenal attributes. God is good. He's infinitely unchanging, kind, and full of goodwill. Okay. Oh, taste and see the Lord is good. Psalm 34:8. Okay. All right. It's interesting. We got some attributes that I've just given you. It's a pretty good attribute. I got to admit, attributes of me jump up and want to scream for joy, right? Until we start getting into this Bible and start reading it. And then everything falls apart. Until we get into this thing and start reading it, and it all crumbles. Is there good stuff in the Bible that you can use in your life? Yes. I do not deny that. There's stuff you can use from a lot of places. But you have to understand when you're going and relying on your eternity based off of the information that you don't even understand or know about. That's a big question mark. So we're going to dig in a little bit to the Gnostics and what they believe, what they had to say. Pretty interesting stuff here. Let me go back to my screen. We're going to go back one more time. So this is Amun Ra, one of the big culprits that's been quoted. His quotes have made it into the Bible many times. We're going to go over him some of the stuff. This guy is pure evil, pure unadulterated evil. Every time you say amen, you're giving thanks to this guy. This is the guy that owed amen to be a statement. Of course, it used to be our own, but over time it became amen. But he said, when you give thanks to anything, you say the name at the end. You're giving thanks to this guy, the most brutal ruler of all time. And then calling on the name of Jesus, which has no power whatsoever. Jesus means hail Zeus. Okay? That's what it actually means. The guy's name is really Yeshua, which translates into Joseph. It's not even close to this Asus, because the J was recently added within the last 100 years. The J was added to the name. It was Asus, and that Asus, and that means hail Zeus. Has nothing to do with calling on the creator of the universe. That's why when people call on the name of Jesus, nothing happens. Now, Gnosticism, interesting. Gnosticism is a belief that human beings contain a piece of God, the highest good, or a divine spark. within themselves, which has fallen from the image of the world into the bodies of humans. All physical matter is subject to decay, rotting, and death. So Gnosticism believes what I believe is that every single thing that exists in this universe has the creative spark of God itself in it. And by that means, we are all God walking in the flesh. Period. That's what it means. Okay. And now what's interesting about it is, you look at this book, you get these ancient scriptures. Now come on. Okay. The Nag scripts. Now, this is an incredible text. I have revised, updated translation of sacred Gnostic texts. It includes all the codices in it. All the codices are here. The Nag scriptures. Be interesting. The Nag codices, the Nag library, is a collection of 13 ancient books. This is actually 13 books in one right here. 13 ancient books, all the codices, contain over 50 texts, was discovered in Upper Egypt in 1945. Immensely important discovery includes a large number of primary Gnostic Gospels. Texts once to have been entirely destroyed during the early Christian struggle to define orthodoxy. They tried to wipe this out. They didn't want you to get your hands on this information. But guess what? Light always wins. Scripture such as the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip, and the Gospel of Truth, the discovery of translation of the Nag Hammadi library, initially completed in the 1970s, has provided impetus to a major reevaluation of early Christian history and the nature of Gnosticism. This is powerful stuff because it goes deep. And when we analyze the Gnostics and what they came to believe, they come to understand that based on the ancient teachings, that we are all God walking in the flesh, that there's only one consciousness that exists. There's only one. Consciousness has literally divided itself to trillions of entities throughout the entire universe. We're just a small part of that. And we are literally picking up frequency from this one source, and we're God walking in the flesh to experience Billy Carson. What is it like to be Mary Jane? What is it like to be John Doe? What's it like to be a bluegrass? What is it like to be a rock? What is it like a microphone? Every atom is conscious. We know this now because of quantum mechanics. We know that the double slit experiment proves that everything exists as a wave and then it's collapsed into a solid structure based on conscious observation. And that the electrons orbiting the atoms make a decision to collapse into a solid structure from a wave based off of that. So they make a decision. That's consciousness. All the electrons are conscious. Gnosticism, Gnostics, they knew this thousands of years ago. They all had a understanding of all of the sources where a lot of the biblical text came from. And they knew that a lot of it was copied from deeper ancient texts and was cultivated and put together in a way to control mankind. Because of their belief of spirituality over religion, they used to be hunted down and killed. They have to hide in caves to even study and practice this incredible ascension wisdom and ascension knowledge. Let's take a look at why they believe this religious version was wrong. Let's take a look at this. This is something you're not going to get in your Bible study. They're just not going to teach you this. They're just not going to give this to you. Because when you get home, you ain't going to look it up. You know why? You're lazy. You're lazy. You're going to go to the church. You're going to sing a couple of hymns. You're going to jump around, yada, 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 put money in the plate, go home and lay down and watch sorrow burn. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to contribute anything to making this planet better. You're going to focus on making money, and you focus on going to work. And that's it. That's your things. Pay bills and going to work. There's nothing else for you to do. I paid my dues to the church. I got my money in the plate, jumped up and down, got sweaty, and now good to go. I begged for my forgiveness, and now I'm good to go. Murder and rape and pillaging. This is in the Bible. Judges 21:10 through 24. So this now keep in mind. Remember those attributes I read in the beginning. All those great attributes of God. Remember those as I read this, because God is now giving commands to people. And I'm going to go on to some New Testament stuff as well. He sent 12,000 warriors to Jabesh Gilead with order to kill everyone there, including women and children. This is what you want to do, he said. Completely destroy all the male, every woman who is not a virgin. I don't know that. Among the residents of Jabesh Gilead, they found 400 young virgins who had never slept with a man, and they brought them to the camp at Shiloh in the land of Canaan. The Israelite assembly sent a peace delegation to the little remnant of Benjamin, who were there living at the rock of Remnant. The men of Benjamin returned to their homes, and 400 women of Jabesh Gilead who were spared were given to them as wives. So they took these women, they abducted them, found out they were virgins. Okay, now you're going to marry, you're going to be the wives of these dudes over here. You don't even know. There were not enough for all of them. The people felt sorry for Benjamin because the Lord had left his gap in the tribe of Israel. So Israelite leaders asked, how can we find wives for few who remain, since all the women of the tribe of Benjamin are dead? Because you killed them. There must be heirs for the survivors so that the entire tribe of Israel would not be lost forever. But we cannot give them our own daughters in marriage because we have sworn with Solomon an oath, I swore to solemn oath, that anyone who does this will fall under God's curse. Then they took the annual festival of the Lord in Shiloh between Lebanon and Bethel, along the east side of the road that goes down from Bethel to Shechem. They told them Benjamin still needed wives. Go and hide in the vineyards. Go and hide in the vineyards. When the women of Shiloh come out of dances, rush up to the vineyards, and each of you take one and take them and be your wife. That's stalking and abduction. And then their fathers and brothers come to us in protest. When their fathers and brothers come to us in protest, we will tell them, please be understanding. Let them have your daughters. We didn't find wives for them when we destroyed Jabesh Gilead. This is ridiculous. Here's more murder and rape and pillage of the Midianites. Just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The Lord commanded Moses. They killed all the men, all 5 of the Midianite kings, Ebi, Zur, Hur, and Reba, fighting the battle. They also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with the sword. Then the Israelite army captured the Midianite women and children and seized their cattle, flocks, and all their wealth as plunder. They burned all the towns and villages where the Midianites had lived after they had gathered the plunder and captives, both people and animals. They brought them all to Moses and Eleazar and the whole community of Israel, which was camped on the plains of Moab beside Jordan River across from Jericho. Moses, Eleazar, the priest, and all the leaders of the people who went to meet them outside the camp. But Moses was furious with all the military commanders who had returned from the battle. Why have you let all the women live? He demanded. Why have you let all the women live? This is the guy who gave you the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill, right? They are the very ones who followed Balaam's advice and caused the people of Israel to rebel against the Lord at Mount Peor. In other words, they didn't want to believe on the foolishness that they were given. The ones who caused the plague to strike the Lord's people. Oh, really? Okay. Sounds like a sickness that we just had. Now kill all the boys, all the women who have slept with a man. Only the young girls who are virgins live. You keep them for yourselves. Oh, you can kill everybody, but you find any virgins, make sure you keep them, but they're good. Clearly, Moses had God's approval of rape of virgins. This is the Bible. How come I'm reading this on Bible study day? More rape in Deuteronomy. More murder and rape and pillage in Deuteronomy 10 through 14. As you approach a town to attack, this is God on these people. First, all its people turns for peace. Why are you even coming to attack? Good. These people are going to attack people who they don't even know. And let me explain why they're attacking, by the way. When God is bringing these wars to happen, the thing to people to attack these other villages, you got to understand it's God's plural. You go to the original translation, word God in the Bible, you find that it's God with S, not singular. And the gods is Enki and Lil and Nu and Amun-Ra, also known as Marduk in the Jewish Torah. Okay, and also Sumerian tab is Marduk. Interesting. These people are fighting against each other and the other relatives that have been getting land and rulership of people in areas. And in some areas where there was no ruler, they're just going over and taking over the people's land and dividing up the land between themselves. And the order was to go through murder, killing. And so when Enlil would tell, also known as Yahweh in the Bible, would tell these people to go do this, they're thinking God is telling them to go kill people. But this ain't the creator of the universe. This is a guy that puts on his pants one at a time and takes a piss the same way I do. As you approach town to attack, first offers terms for peace. If they accept your term and open the gates, then all the people inside will serve you forced labor. In other words, I'm going to knock on your door, by the way, but I'm here under the order of God. He told me to come here and let you guys know if you don't want to be our slaves, we're going to have to kill you, even if you don't even know who the hell we are, and we don't know who the hell you are. But we're going to kill you. I know we don't know each other, but if you don't become a slave, I'm going to have to kill you. So saith the Lord. But if the terms, okay, so here you go. But if they refuse to make peace and prepare to fight, you must attack the town. The Lord your God hands it over to you. Kill every man in the town. But you may keep for yourselves all the women, the children, livestock, and all the plunder. You may enjoy the spoil of your enemies. The Lord God has given you. Does that sound like the attributes I read in the beginning of this video? Now remember, God is unchanging according to these Bible studies and according to the verses that I read. So God is the same all the time. He's good all the time. Same God now today that was at this time. There's no difference, no change. Look at the state of the planet right now. at all the wars going on right now. Do you think this is from the creator of the universe or from a him, he, gender-based mind? Energy. Yeah, I think you get the point. Laws of rape, Deuteronomy 2:28 through 29. If a man is caught in the act of raping a young woman who is not engaged, he must pay 50 pieces of silver for her to her father. Then he must marry a young woman. Oh, wait a minute. Oh man, thank you, God. You mean if I rape a woman and I can pay a couple shekels, then I can get to have her as my wife if I decide to? Oh man, thank you. You know, I appreciate that. Ain't he good all the time? He's so good. Only do it. Only do it. If a man is caught in the act of raping a young woman who is not engaged, he must pay 50 pieces of silver to her father. He must marry a young woman because he has violated her. Okay, marry her now. You know me, abducted and everything. He will never be allowed to divorce. Oh man, you got to keep her forever. You can still cheat on her. Don't worry about that. We got you with your concubines and all that. What kind of lunatic would make a rape victim marry the attacker? But you remember the attributes that I read to you when we started this video. All of a sudden, these attributes just are not in alignment. We're talking about people here. We're not talking about gods or the God. Slaves. Exodus 21, 7 through 11. The man sells his daughter as a slave. Let me read it again. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, this is in your Bible that you never read about. You know why? Because you're lazy. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she will not be freed at the end of 6 years as the men are. You can sell your son as a slave too, but in 6 years he can be freed. You need a couple dollars? Hey, have some kids. They're worth a lot of money. If she does not please the man who bought her, he may allow her to be bought back again. But he is not allowed to sell her to foreigners. Don't sell her to foreigners now. You don't be selling to foreigners. Don't do that. Okay? Since he is the only one who broke contract with her. And if the slave girl's owner arranges for her to marry his son, he may no longer treat her as a slave girl, but he may treat her as his daughter. If he himself marries her, well, you can marry a slave too. If he himself marries her and then takes another wife, well, they got a poly going on over here. He may not reduce her food or clothing or fail to sleep with her as his wife. If he fails any of these ways, she may leave as a free woman without making any payment. Oh, so nice of you. Oh, Lord, so nice. God assists in plunder. Zechariah 14, 1 2. Lo, a day shall come for the Lord, the spoil shall be divided in your midst, and I will gather all the nations in Jerusalem for battle. Really, how would you do that? Because they don't believe in your foolishness? Shall be taken houses, women ravished. That's the agreement for rape. So God is saying the women are going to be ravished. I'm going to allow you. I approve the rape of these women. Guys, when we go into this mission, I want you to raise women. But you remember the attributes that I read in the beginning. Do you remember the attributes I read to you? Yeah. Won't he do? He doing it all right. Seems like he like a lot of rape. The city shall go to exile, but the rest of the people shall not be removed from the city. Slavery in the Bible. I got a big problem with this. Slavery is approved by everybody, even Jesus. The following passage shows that slaves are clearly property to be bought and sold like livestock. However, you can purchase a male or female slave from among the foreigners who live among you. You can also purchase the children of such resident foreigners, including those who have been born in your land. You may treat them as your property, passing them to your children. Oh, we're working on legacy. They build a legacy back in the day. See what they're up to. They're trying to build legacy. Oh, you pass it on to your children. Permanent inheritance. Oh, how nice of you. You treat your slaves like this. But the people of Israel, relatives, must never be treated this way. Oh, now you see what's going on with the people in Israel killing people that are on the Gaza Strip. The Palestinians. You see what's happening? They believe this what I'm reading right now, word for word. They believe this information to you today, word for word, still to this day. They're out there with sniper guns, pop kids as they play soccer in the park, the Palestinian kids as they play soccer. They're going and robbing them and stealing their homes and taking their homes away. Right now, I'm sitting here reading you, these people are living in turmoil by the big Christian land, the Christians, the great Christians on earth there in Israel, right? That we can give $200 million a day to, all this other foolishness. Well, these people believe in this stuff for word. The following passage describes how Hebrew slaves are treated. You buy a Hebrew slave, that's a black man. He's a servant for only 6 years, set free in the 7th year, and he will owe you nothing for freedom. But if he's single and he became your slave and then married afterward, only he will go free in the 7th year. Sorry, if she got to stay. We need to keep her a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep her. She got some to do around here. Interesting. But if he was married before he became a slave, then his wife would be freed with him. If his master gave him a wife while he was a slave, and he had sons or daughters, then the man will be free in the 7th year, but his wife and children will still belong to the master. Can't go nowhere. You free, but guess what? We're going to hold on to this family just a little bit longer. But the slave may plainly declare, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I would rather not go. Of course he wouldn't. If he does this, his master must present him before God. Then his master must take him to the door and publicly pierce his ear with an awl. After that, the slave belonged to his master forever. You see where slavery came from in America? You see how they, and all over in Europe and all through the Caribbean, they believed this word for word. And they took these verses and said, oh, we're allowed to have slaves. This is normal. This is natural. They're not even human beings. We can do with them as we please. We can rape them. Why do you think slave masters rape the women all the damn time? They were going for this book right here. This book gave them the green light to do all this foolishness. And your omniscient, your omnipotent God that you claim, nothing about it. Not one stinking thing. Jesus approved slaves. You would think that Jesus and the New Testament would have a view of slavery. It's supposed to be a new day. It's a new dawn, a new day. But slavery is still approved in the New Testament. And the following passages will show. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with deep respect and fear. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. Ephesians 6:5. When we do it, Christians, who slaves should give the masters full respect, so that the name of God and his teaching will not be shamed. If your master is a Christian, there's no excuse for being disrespectful. You should work all the harder because you are helping another believer by your efforts. Teach these truths, Timothy, and encourage everyone to obey them. Timothy 6:1 and 2. Yes, your New Testament. People go, oh, well, in the New Testament, everything changed. No, it didn't. It's the same old crap, different day. Where do you think slavery came from? Worldwide slavery of people and other people. Human beings enslaving other beings. It came from this text right here. The green light was given through this text. This is what you ain't learning in Bible study. The servant will be severely punished. Though he knew his duty, he refused to do it. But people who are not aware that they're doing wrong will be punished only lightly. Much required from those whom much is given. You always hear that term, but you don't hear the rest of it. And much are required from those whom more is given. Luke 12:47. Murder is approved. Here's murder approved. Capital punishment. Capital punishment. Here you go. Kill people who don't listen to priests. No, don't talk to them and try to convince them. Don't work things out. Take the guy. If you have the slightest thought that this guy might not want to get in line with us, just kill him. Anyone arrogant enough to reject the verdict of the judge or of the priest who represents the Lord your God must be put to death. Such evil must be purged from Israel. More Deuteronomy. Kill witches. How do you know they're a witch? Just guess. You should not let a sorceress live. Anybody who probably just doesn't believe in their foolishness, got to be a witch. Get rid of them. Kill homosexuals. If a man lies with a male as a woman, both of them shall be put to death for their abominable deed. They have forfeited their lives. All right? Doesn't sound like any other stuff that I talked about in the beginning. All these great, phenomenal, beautiful attributes of the creator of the universe. It doesn't match. That's why I'm telling you, there is a creator of the universe, but people in the Bible, and I do mean people, that ain't them. It ain't it. Kill non-believers. They enter into a covenant to seek the Lord, the God of their fathers, with all heart and soul. Everyone who will not seek the Lord, of the God of Israel, will put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. Killing women, killing children, killing whoever. You don't fall in line, dead. Chronicles 15:12. Kill false prophets. If a man prophesies, his parents, father, and mother shall say to him, you shall not live. Or your mother will tell you, you better die. Because you have spoken a lie in the name of the Lord. When he prophesies, his parents, father, and mother shall trust or thrust him through. Your own parents got to take you out. Or they're going to be killed too, right? And burn in the lake fire and all this crazy foolishness. Kill the entire town if one person worships another God. This doesn't match with the attributes that I've been telling you about. I'm telling you, this is not Lord God. This is the devil himself. This is the evil energy that's flowing in this book, which is why it's been used to commit much egregious crimes. Look at all the wars on this planet. Look at all the slavery on this planet. Look at all the politics on this, which is a religion. It's all coming in this book. They all call the Bible as their saving grace as to why they're what they're doing. Suppose you're here in one of the times that the Lord your God is giving you that some worthless rabble among you have led their fellow citizens astray by encouraging you to worship before God. In such cases, you must examine the acts carefully. If you find it's true and can prove that such a detestable act has occurred among you, you must attack that town and completely destroy all of its inhabitants, as well as all of the livestock. Kill the animals too, damn it. You must pile the plunder in the middle of the street and burn it. the entire town to the torch. Kill everybody, just everybody there. Just kill it all. And there's a burnt offering to the Lord your God. You see the foolishness here, guys? That's what reminded me 13 through 19. More rape and baby killing. Anyone who's captured will be run through with a sword. The little children will be dashed to death right before their eyes. I thought the attributes were like love and kindness and faithful. This is never changing God. Yeah. I'm sorry, I believe they're never changing as I look at all people getting killed around the world right now. Their homes will be sacked and their wives will be raped by the attacking hordes. For I will stir up the Medes against Babylon, and no amount of silver will buy them all. The attacking armies will shoot down the young people with arrows. They will have no mercy on helpless babies and will show no compassion for children. Isaiah 13. So what we've come through here, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to come back to this.
I'm treating this like a murder case.
You don't really think they're gonna find them, do you?
We are this close. Some questions don't have answers.
True Detective Night Country is streaming exclusively on Max.
What we've come to here is understanding that you guys have been misled in a very severe way, in a way that has poisoned the minds of billions of people on this planet. There's 8.5 billion people on Earth, and 85% of these people are religious. Thank you for all the donations, by the way. And these people are taking this information. Well, they're not taking this information because they don't study it, because they ain't taught it. That's why when you go to church, when you were in slavery times, the slave master would sit there and tell you exactly what verses you can read and what verses you can't read. And he would sit there with his gun or his whip, would be to mess up, only give them these certain verses. And those same teachings have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Why? Because they want you to hear it read to you. That is not, those were read were not attributes of the universe that I live in at all. Not even close. Not even close. I read to you are Anunnaki Atlantean people fighting each other, using human beings as cattle. Hey man, I'm tired of them over there. They're improving on my land now. I want y'all to go away and kill them people. No, I know you want to worry about what they did. They sinned against me. I want y'all to kill them people. And when you get done killing them, if you find a virgin, you can make sure you take the virgin with you, because we got to make more babies. I need more slaves over here, man. We've been low on slaves. You see what's happening? That's not the creator of the universe. That is a human being called an Atlantean Anunnaki, a Homo sapien, I should say, not a human being, but a Homo sapien, masquerading as a god, telling people what to do and running and go do this, and you run and go do that. Thus say I, and you people run out and go do this foolishness, and you're still doing the same garbage to this very day. Running around committing egregious acts against people based off of what's in this book you know nothing about. Nothing about. Let me tell you what the Nag Hammadi said. Let me tell you what they said. It's the same hypothesis I came to. And I'm going to tell you a story that actually happened to me in real time, in real life. I was sitting at the beach, and this guy walked up to me. And I knew right when he walked up with a bottle of water, headed towards me, he was going to preach to me. It's a technique they use at the beach I go to. And you're just sitting there, somebody walks up, they come up to you, they try to hand you some water. He just thought I was one of these homeless people or something, just sitting on the beach. Because I was fully dressed, I wasn't like in beach clothes. I even had my sneakers on because I was going for a walk. I just decided to take a quick break and sit at the edge of the water for a few minutes, just enjoy the beauty, and then go back and finish my walk. So I'm sitting here in regular clothes. And I said, oh boy, here we go. I'm letting him go talk. He started trying to preach to me, you take Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and all this other stuff, yada, yada, yada. And I said, no. He goes, why not? You know the power of the Lord. I said, listen, the reason why is because I am God. The guy jumped back. Whoa. I said, yeah, I'm God, and you're God too. We're all God. Every single one of us is God, walking in trying to learn what is experienced life in the third dimension. So the guy tries to go back and he tries to start telling me more stuff. So I started asking him stuff about the Bible. I said, make a long story short about this. I said, you know what? Tell me about this Satan entity that's in the Bible, this devil, Satan, the devil. Tell me all of them. Okay. He says, well, he's evil. He's the second hand of God at one point. He's there's nobody smarter than him other than God. He was a right hand, and he's not even an angel. He's a cherubim, and anywhere he went, music followed him. He was a genius, and blah 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 blah, and got all these powers and so forth and so on. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Pretty smart guy, huh? Yeah. Oh yeah. So wow, that's any salvation. You have to. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, so you're saying that this entity has high IQ now, really, really high, higher than any human. Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. This guy is just a genius. Oh, really? Okay, genius. Well, answer me this then. So in the Bible that you got at hand, what happened to this being? Oh, he committed these acts that all prophesied in this book, and at the end, He's cast into a lake of fire for all eternity. I said, really? Okay. This is interesting stuff you're telling me. So this being with this super intelligence that's almost on the same level of God, it has this power and everything else, can go on the planet and be in everybody's mind at all at once, and has all these amazing power and can do all this amazing stuff. He's going to follow the prophecies written by him, flesh and blood human beings, and on a piece of paper to his own demise. Oh, yes, it is. Yes. I'm sorry, man. I don't believe that. What more than likely is happening is that entity that you're running from, the one that orchestrated the way this text in this book put together, so that you can run to your own demise. And what's happening is you're following and worshiping the same entity and demon that you're running from. The guys got wide. Oh, snap. This guy's scaring me. Got to walk away. That's what the Gnostics talk about in our commodity. They believe the same thing. Matter of fact, they're spot on. What Christians are doing is unwillingly being fooled and tricked to literally staying and praying to the same entities that have nothing to do with salvation. Zeus, Amra, Enlil, Anu, Enki, Marduk. These are all beings that they're calling on their names. Yahweh, Jehovah. You're calling on two gods at once then. In the name of Jesus, you call on Zeus. It's pure ignorance that has led you to your own demise. And then have this situation where you'll see a person, oh, I just got approved for my mortgage. I just got a new house. Won't he do it? That is good all the time. And then right around the corner, there was a kid sleeping on the street. But he's not worthy to have a house, right? Because God's only good to you. See the logic in that? You see the ignorance in that? If you're in America, you hit the genetic lottery. You're sitting I'm sitting in a house in America where I can literally find many ways to earn myself a living, many ways to have a decent lifestyle, even in a small apartment with no car, taking a bicycle to work. I can still have a decent life. I've been on this planet. I've been to third world countries. The majority of the countries I go to are overlaid, heavy, super Christian. Talking about they live day and night and day. They breathe and eating it, sleeping 24 hours a day, and they live in mud and dirt, and they have a horrible life. They don't even live long. They die young. And then you have the people over here. Won't he do it? I just got me a brand new car. That's because the power of God is on me. Really? The power of God's on me. God stopped creating the planet and said, you know what? This Sally Mae there, she needed a new car. Let me stop what I'm doing right here and get this car for Sally Mae. But this kid over here that's suffering his life over here in Abydos, in Egypt, I'm just going to leave him alone. I saw this kid wandering through the Abydos, 3 or 4-year-old kid, screaming and crying, walking through the streets for hours. Nobody even looked at him. Nobody even looked at him. He probably just came from a collapsed building because buildings collapsed in minutes. Mother's probably just died. But he's not blessed because he didn't follow the right God. He didn't say the right prayer. But you just magically the right one, right? Somebody get into a car accident, they live. It was God. God saved him. He died. It was the time to go. Lord called him home. Foolishness. That's fabricated foolishness, guys. Is what you're doing. You're just fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself into believing fairy tales. You have no understanding of what the information contained in this Bible really is all about, who wrote and when it was written. The Bible wasn't written in real time. The people in the Bible didn't write the Bible. The disciples were illiterate men. If you're at the seminary, you wouldn't know that. I've studied all the seminary texts. They were illiterate. They couldn't read or write. So who wrote the text? Who wrote Timothy? Who wrote all these books? Who wrote John? Who wrote all these books? Who wrote? Guess what, guys? Written long after they were dead. Thousands of years, 2,000 years after they died. The first book was discovered. The first text was discovered in caves around 100 AD. It wasn't even a book, just some text in some jars. And then some more jars around and some more caves and some more caves and some more caves and some more was dug up over time. Between 100 AD to 900 AD, all this text laying around and so being pieced together. 100 AD to 900, that's modern times. And what was on the text? They had handwritten copies from ancient Sumerian tablets, from the Mahabharata, from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Epic of Gilgamesh, from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, from all the other texts that already had been in, from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. That's where all this information comes from. And plus something from, of course, their own input. Because if I put 50 people in a circle and I sit here and we're all sitting in a circle, perfect circle, and I whisper to one person there, one sentence, 5 or 6 words, and they're supposed to then turn and whisper and whisper and whisper and whisper till it gets back to my opposite ear. Guess what? It's gonna be the same sentence I said. The sentence is gonna change. I guarantee you it won't be the same exact sentence. That's the nature of humanity. Everything is corrupted once a man touches it. Everything is corrupted once a man touches it. So you're telling me that this Satan, the devil, this master wizard of all time, who can whisper in the ear of billions of people simultaneously, make them do evil things, is literally going to follow everything written in this book, written by a man, written by men, to his own demise. By the way, he has a gender too, because he's also called a he. He has a gender. It's also another male entity to his own demise. And that's going to be, I'm just going to follow the rule of this book, guys. I'm just going to follow the rule of this book and be as ill as I can until it's over. No life preservation for me. I don't want to hurt myself at all, guys. I'm just going to follow you men written in this book. I'm going to listen to this. Come on, man. Use some logic. Did you read the attributes? Did you listen to the attributes I gave you in the beginning of this whole thing? Omniscient, omnipotent, all knowing, never changing. So what changed between teaching and those Bible verses that I just read you? It's the same person. It's the same entity. What you're doing is you're following the evil energy the whole way through, convincing yourself that you're following positive energy when you're not. You're following ultimate evil. Get the non-commodity scripts and do you a favor. Start studying. Get your Bible out. Start studying. Start reading and researching the information in the Bible, but not just reading the Bible. Break it down into ancient texts and find out where the sources of the material came from, and then study and read that. If you're study off of one book and you even understand what's in the book, then what are you really doing? Time. And you're passing that garbage on to you, and they're passing it on to their kids, and everybody's ignorant because they have no idea what they're doing. They think, oh, I'm just doing it as a safe thing, just in case I want to go to heaven or I want to go to hell, just in case it's real. Just in case. There is no love in torture and threat and fear. So if you are a Christian and you are worried about going to hell, you're trying to be good not to go to hell, what you have is not love. What you have is fear. And the reason why you're participating is because you saved your own ass. That's what you do. You saved your skin. Yes, you want to admit it. That's what it's all about. What if this fire is really real? What if this lake of fire really exists? I got to do this garbage because if I don't, I might just burn anyway. That's what it comes down to. And if you are operating from that, there's no love in that. It's fear. Only fear. Period. Fear allows you to be controlled. What the Bible, majority of the Bible is, and some good parts in it, the majority of it is just like watching CNN or Fox News. Nothing but fear 24/7 to bend you down, mold you over, and get you in that low frequency mindset that nothing works out in your favor. Period. And if you don't believe it, I want you to get together 10,000, get together me 1,000,000 Christians in one place and have them start praying, and let me see if the world will change the next day. It's going to be the same planet we on. The same people are going to start shooting guns and killing people. They're not going to change. You know why? Because they're praying deaf ears. They don't know how to pray. Prayer works, not the way that you're praying. If I take you and connect a cap to your head with electrodes on it and connect that cap to a computer to read your brain with EEG, an EEG on your brain and see how your waves are functioning, I can tell you if you're in a low frequency or a high frequency state based off of your brain waves. If you're in an emotion of fear, doubt, anguish, begging, just praying, the typical person begs when they pray. That's low frequency. Now, if I take you with the same exact technology connected to a computer and to read your brainwaves, and I have you in a position of upright power, understanding, commanding, unconditional love, happiness. Now it's going to be high frequency waves going to the computer. The universe reads waves, low frequency and high frequency. It knows light, and guess what? It's going to give you back whatever you give it. You're running around here begging and pleading, hoping and wishing and scratching around, you can get the same kind of garbage back in your life. Until you stand up and draw a line in the sand and command your existence, command your potential, command who you are, command your outcomes to happen, you're going to be different. The reason why I command my realities is because I know the power is inside of me. So I command myself. I don't get on an airplane and pray to arrive at my destination safely. I command I arrive at my destination safely. I command it. Why? Because the same power of the Creator is inside my body. I don't, please help me make sure I get there right on time and I arrive safely. No, that's a slave's mentality. I'm not a slave. I have the power of the Creator flowing through every atom in my body. So that I have a fraction of that power in me. I'm going to command things into me with confidence. My prayer is I command it. That's it. I'm done. That's the whole prayer. That's the whole prayer. There's nothing for me to say. Nothing else to say. Command it. Walk in your true power. Stop giving your power away to these entities that hoodwink humanity and fool you and give you a book that send you down to your own device. You're praying to Enlil, Anu, Marduk, Isis. What do you think Genesis is? Isis was the one who gave birth to Adam in the cuneiform tablets in the incredible silver scroll that exists in the British Museum, which I'm going to see in a few weeks. Right? It's the generations of Isis. That's Genesis. Genesis. Generations of Isis. That's what I was given that name. You got to study all this stuff. You got to become smart because why? It's leading humanity down the path of destruction continuously. More people have died over religious beliefs than any other reason on the planet. If it's supposed to be all knowing, all loving, all peaceful, all this and that, why the rape, pillaging, killing, the murder still going on today in the name of God? Still going on today in the name of God. You guys gotta understand, you gotta get knowledge. You gotta be willing to read non-commodity scripts. You gotta be willing to read the complete Apocrypha, the lost books of the Bible that were kept out. You guys know that there's a book in the Bible of the Bible that's Harvard Seminary called The Gospel of Jesus' Wife. Oh, yeah. Did you know that in the Sinai Bible, which predates the King James Bible, Jesus was never even crucified, guys? He lived, got married, never got crucified. That was fabricated by the Roman Catholic Church. Just like it was added to the Bible in the 1600s. The rapture was added to the Bible by William James Darby in 1835. I'm going to lead you with a couple of things, a couple for you to understand where you are spiritually and what's locked you down mentally into this religious system that completely dogmatically destroyed an entire civilization of people on this planet. Christianity was spread around the planet by hate, by murder, by killing, and by rape. It wasn't spread by love. That's how they did it. They went to all these indigenous tribes and they said, okay, you guys are going to follow, so I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take your chief out, your bushman, torture him in front of the whole crew, in front of the whole family. If you guys want to be like this, then you better fall in line, learn my language, and pray to my God. And that's what happened.
My back. Inappropriate. We're going to save life. Your car's advanced safety system. Gotta get your windshield replaced and recalibrated by a highly trained tech like Rob. There you go, folks. It can never even happen. Make sure to book your appointment with the pros of flight.
Safety repairs, flight replace.
I'm going to read you some top signs that you're a fundamentalist Christian and that you're hoodwinked and you're really falling into the deception. You vigorously deny the existence of thousands of God claimed by other religions, but feel outraged when someone denies the existence of yours. You feel insult, dehumanized when scientists say that people evolved from other life forms, but you have no problem with the biblical claim that we were created from dirt. I tell people that Anunnaki genetically modified existing hominids on this planet and they're Christian, they go crazy. No. You laugh at polytheists, but you have no problem believing in a triune God. Okay? You don't have any problem believing in Trinity. Your face turns people when your face turns hear people of the atrocity attributed by Allah, but you don't flinch when you think how God Jehovah ordered all babies in Egypt. You laugh at Hindus that deify humans and Greek claims about God with women, but you have no problem believing the Holy Spirit in men and marriage. You're willing to spend your life looking for little loopholes in the scientifically established age of Earth, which is a few billion years. But you find nothing wrong with believing it's recorded by a Bronze Age tribe sitting in their tents, guessing at Earth, as a few generations old, guessing at the age of the planet. We'll just guess. 6,000 years. You know why they believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old? Most Christians, because the Sumerian tablets are 6,000 years old, and that's where the story started. It was recovered most recently. It's not based on any science or geology. You believe that the entire population of this planet, with the exception of those who share your beliefs, though excluding those in all right sects, will spend eternity in hell as suffering. Yet consider your religion the most tolerant and loving, so loving. But you're going to burn a lake of fire. If I had $1 for every person who told me I was going to burn a lake of fire, I'd be a millionaire right now. Modern science, history, geology, and physics fail to convince you otherwise. Some idiot rolling around on the floor speaking in tongues may be all that you need to prove Christianity. You don't need anything else. That's it. That's your evidence right there. Science out the window. Evidence out the window. You define 0.1% as a high success rate when it comes to answered prayers. Literally. It's the luck of the draw. Your prayers don't work. 85% of people on the planet are religious. There are millions and maybe even trillions of prayers going daily because people think multiple times 8 billion. And it's not working, guys. Sorry, not working. Meditation has a better success rate than prayers. And you actually know a lot less than many atheists and agnostics do about the Bible, Christianity, church history, but you still call you a Christian, but you know nothing about the book whatsoever. 99.9% of Christians have never even read the entire Bible. I've read the entire Bible over 100 times back and forth, inside and out, upside and down. I know all the information in the Bible. I've calculated and clocked and tagged and tipped all the information in there that's pertinent to my research and information that I need to learn about and know, because it's important for you to understand and know about all the topics and information and historical context in there as I get into deeper and more ancient text. How in the world I know more about the Bible than you, and I'm even a Christian? I do believe in a creator, but not the one in that book. You're praying to more people. All right, guys, that's my time coming to an end today. Every now and then, I got to pull the little spanking stick, hit you, and wait a minute, what are you talking about? I better do some work here. I got some work to do. If you left this video feeling like, you know what, I may not like the way he put it, but damn it, I need to do some research. If you left this rant today with that in your mind, then you got some good things ahead. But if you left this feeling like, how dare he's gonna burn in a lake of fire, you're still in a coma. You'll be reincarnated though. You're back, and you'll get another chance again. All right, you get another chance again. Anyway, guys, thank you so many of the donations. I was on a what do you call it, a PowerPoint. So during the PowerPoint, I can't see. I don't even like to put up on the screen. I couldn't see them, but I appreciate every single one of you for participating tonight. Every single one of you, love every single one. It's all about unconditional love. Sometimes it's called tough love. It's called tough love. It got to be real. All the dancing around the bushes. Oh, guys, I'm forbidden. I don't dance from the bushes. That's not who I am. You already know that. That's why y'all come to my rants. Because I don't dance. I'm going to give it to you like it is. Whether you like it or not. I'm going to give it to you like it is. Period. I'm telling you right now, Christians on this planet are responsible for half the problem we got. And then the CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies that are poisoning the planet, all the chemicals, all the funding, all the wars on both sides of the war, supplying war material, guns, and everything else. Those are the ones that are the problem. That's 50% of the problem. We got a big problem on this planet. We got people calling on the name of God that are selling guns. I'm not talking about guns in the street. I'm talking about arms to militaries. The United States is the largest arms dealer in the world. They're out here complaining about what's going on with these people running around. That's the problem. Don't get me wrong, but we're the biggest problem. We're around here giving everybody the damn guns. We're supplying tanks. We're supplying SAMs, surface air missiles. We're supplying all the jets. We're supplying fighter jets. Taking orders. Like it's it's coming like it's Walmart. And we're putting this out there in the world. And then the reason why they do it is because they're fueling the wars. They want the wars to happen so we can get involved. First, make the money off of where you take the tax dollars, buy the equipment, and create it. And we go ahead and sell it. And we take the profit. That's 100% profit. It costs us a penny to make the stuff in the first place. All that money from the people. Now we got a profit from it. We didn't have to even worry about because there's no overhead. We took that the tax dollars. Then we create turmoil in the world. And guess what? Somebody got to. I need our help. We're gonna come help you guys. Now we fire up our engines over there and we start blowing up stuff. So we make money from that because we take the tax dollars to pay for the war effort. And then what we do is that we destroy the whole place. We get more money out of the situation from the world governments so that we can clean it up. That's Halliburton Company, right? $38 billion. It's a straight pimp game on out here. And all of this is in the name of the Lord. But we're going to bring democracy to your country. God bless America. Come on, man. Whew. This boy, we got a lot of work to do. I'm optimistic, don't get me wrong, but damn, we got a lot to do down here. I can't even go to sleep tonight. I gotta stay up all night and work. I gotta get so much work to do on this planet. It ain't even funny. It's nonstop. But you gotta keep waking people up. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on tonight. If you find anything in this video was educational or whatever, or helped you kind of way, just make sure you hear the video, click the like button. And I'll be back on again tomorrow. I'll be back on again mañana. Don't forget to get shares of Forbidden Knowledge. There's only less than 24 hours left now. Less than 24 hours left to get shares. Drop the link in real quick for you. You want to become a shareholder because as we wrap this up, we are moving into a NASDAQ offering, which will be the first quarter. All right. 24 hours, guys. Get shares. Drop the link in that right now. And I'm gonna sign off, guys. I gotta stand up, walk around, get the lymph moving, get everything moving, get my fluids flowing. And I got to get right back to work again. All right. I love you guys. Appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
There is a narrative in the book of Paper Contact that talks about the arrival of sky artists in Saber Hashem. It gives the names of some of the key figures. Then we're all told in the book of Jeremiah and 2 Kings that primitive Judaism was a canon of memory relating to that context.
All had these big egos, meaning these gods with a lowercase g. They were all kind of relatives of one another.
Yep.
These advanced beings that showed and engaged mankind according to the ancient. And so they all began to go to war with one another, and they all wanted to gather control over the people and over the resources.
This plethora of powerful beings, the Elohim, who are competing with each other. And unfortunately, what's happening in the Bible is Elohim has been translated as God.
Yeah.
So all those wars become holy wars. What Jesus is actually saying is go beyond the mind, because all the powers and principles of the cosmos are available to you.
Now that's powerful.
Now that's powerful. And that's an invitation to explore what's possible for all of us.
Yes.
In another text, you can go to the Gospel of Thomas or to the Gospel of Matthew, and you've got the phrase, the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Yeah.
So that's the whole cosmic realm is inside you. That means if you look deeply inside yourself, you'll discover the cosmos. And if you look deep into the cosmos, you'll discover yourself.
Exactly. Talking about fractals.
You're talking about a fractal universe.
Yeah.
You're talking about quantum phenomena. If ever I use the word God, I always have to clarify what I mean.
Yeah.
And I love the way the Apostle Paul did that in Acts 17. He's got a great definition of God, which is not a puppet master. It's not a king to be obeyed. He says, by God, and the Greek word is theos. By God, I mean the source of the cosmos and everything in it, that in which we all live and move and have our being, of which we are all offspring.
Hey everyone, it's Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge. I'm here with best-selling author Paul Wallace. He's a 4 times best-selling author. You got to read the new book, The Eden Conspiracy, and there's many other books of this series. Also, he's the host of fifthkind.tv. That's 5th, fifthkind.tv, and of course, the Fifth Kind YouTube channel, almost 1 million subscribers, a testament to his ultimate success. Also, make sure you visit Paul Wallace channel on YouTube. You can go to the Paul Wallace channel on YouTube, and of course, you can go visit him at paulanthonywallace.com and go there and check everything he has out on that YouTube, on that website. All right. So this is our second day really filming again. Thank you and welcome back
Good
again.
to be with you, Billy.
Yes.
Thank
you. Paul is all the way from Australia. All right. So he took a long walkabout to get here.
I did. I think I'm finally in your time zone, Billy, today.
You look a lot better.
I'm feeling a lot more human. I actually
Yeah.
got some sleep last night.
That's good. That's good. I know that the other day when we had a podcast, we touched on a lot of incredible topics. We really went into some of the, I call them myths about the Old Testament, and brought a little bit of light to them, because I think that there's truth there, but it's mixed with some incorrect information or maybe some incorrect perceptions about what happened in the past.
Yes.
And you help bring a lot of light to that as well. And so today, do you want to kind of guide us into where you want to go with this talk today?
For sure. Well, we can start there, because I get a lot of people reacting to material I'm putting out saying, oh, Paul, you're trying to debunk the Bible here. My agenda isn't that at all. I believe the Bible is full of accurate information that we've often misinterpreted, mistranslated, and we miss things that we're told openly in the Bible because preachers tend to focus on the other stuff. So I'll give you a for instance, which is really at the heart of things. There is a narrative in the Bible of paleo contact that talks about the arrival of sky armies, Seba Hashamayim. It gives the names of some of the key figures. And then we're also told in the books of Jeremiah and 2 Kings that primitive Judaism was a canon of memory relating to that contact. And so they would have installations that build standing stones at the places where met these advanced beings. They would have temples where they'd have Thanksgiving ceremonies to thank them for their help in the Great Leap Forward, taking us from animal subsistence to teaching us how to farm and build cities. And all that was primitive Judaism. And then you get to Jeremiah and 2 Kings, and the writers tell you this is what the people were doing. From every garrison city, every fortified town, on every high hill, and every green tree, installations to all these other beings. And then a king comes along who decides he doesn't want any more of that. He wants everyone to worship the God he worships, this Yahweh character. So that's by King Hezekiah. He decides to disinstall the standing stones, break the other altars, get rid of the other priesthoods. So there's now only one king, him, his high priest, Hilkiah, his temple, all the tithes of the nation coming there. And we would just forget all these other entities that everybody knew about 5 years ago. And that's the beginning of a process where Jewish ritual was changed. So it all became Yahwistic ritual. And it was the beginning of a two-phase reformation of Judaism, starting with the ritual and then starting with the story. And it takes us through the change in the Bible, so that the Bible stops being about pay your contact and starts being about worship, obedience, paying your tithes, doing what you're told. The Bible tells us there was that shift, that the story was changed. And yet people miss it for a couple of reasons. But the main thing is that we just don't give attention to those bits.
Exactly.
We give attention to all the other bits.
Yeah. And well, the people that are preaching from the pulpit typically are focusing on the other parts that you just talked about, because the part that they got pivoted to, because of course that brings in finances for them. It keeps the people under a certain level of control as well.
Exactly. So if you've got a God who is portrayed as someone to be obeyed, if you've got a religion that is based on one that's all about giving God his dues, which means money, and the best of all, everything that you earn,
person best harvest.
It's very easy to manipulate that, isn't it? And if you've got texts that say that things aren't going to go well for you if you don't do those things, bingo, that preaches well. And unfortunately, in a lot of churches, preachers get led by what preaches well, instead of thinking, wait a minute, what did that text just say? The people loved Asherah and hated Yahweh. We should get into that, shouldn't we? Well, chances are, if you did get into that, this board would gather around him and say, Pastor, we don't want another sermon like that. So it's all a bit of a conspiracy to keep the old story going, because it banks well and it preaches well, rather than because it's getting to the truth of what's in the Bible.
Exactly. Let me see your book.
There you go.
I'll show it to everyone here. It's The Eden Conspiracy. Paul Wallace. Make sure you get this book immediately, and make sure you get his book series. It's a 4-part book series, a 5th one coming very soon. And just to give you a little bit of, before we get too much deeper, for the ones who are just listening to you for the first time, give them a little bit of history about your background in the church.
Yeah, my background, it surprises a lot of people that as a paleo contact guy, my background is in ministry. So 33 years in church-based ministry. And I worked as a church doctor, a theological educator, training pastors, and in particular, I trained them in the history of Christian thought and hermeneutics, which is the principles of interpreting ancient texts. And I was an archdeacon for the Anglican Church in Australia, so that's one down from a bishop, so it's quite a senior role. So it surprises people that someone from that background is now saying, hey, everyone, I think the Bible's got a heap of aliens in it, and there's a whole other bunch of stories in it that is really equipping us for people power in the present day. People miss those things, but that is how I got to it.
Interesting. And so I just wanted to let the people know that we're listening to a person that has been in the church for 33 years, or was in the church for 33 years, and literally you're talking to a reverend here, you're listening to a reverend. So you're talking to somebody well-versed in theology and theology. So now back to what we were talking about. So in the Old Testament, there's a correlation that's similar to the story you just told, but also to Pharaoh Akhenaten. And Pharaoh Akhenaten wanted to also help usher in this monotheistic concept or idea, this one God religion, where he actually began to worship Aten, the sun disk, or AKA Amen Ra, Amen. But he then was telling everyone to go around and begin to deface all the other gods for this other entity. And so again, everyone was going crazy. They were like, this guy's erasing our history from all the hieroglyphs. And then they wanted to oust him out of there. So we kind of see this similar thing. These gods, with a lowercase g, by the way, they tend to get jealous of each other. And they also say that in the Bible, I'm a jealous God. Right? Which lets you know that that God is not the creator of the universe. It's more than likely a person, of some type of a sentient being, but not the creator of the universe. And what's interesting about it, though, is the fact that he's ousted. They go to get him out of there. And then, of course, King Tut comes in behind him, which is his son. He's killed pretty quickly. And so there's this thing going on but you see this, all these gods or these people, they all want to be the one.
Yes, that's right. That's an interesting story because it's almost a mirror image of the story I just told from the Bible. Because when Akhenaten is saying, let's worship the one God,
why are you not investing in tax liens? No, seriously. Why are you not investing into one of the most incredible real estate strategies that's the most passive and creates the highest rate of return? Now, I bet you're thinking, Brian, I don't even know what that is. And even if I did, I don't know how to do it. So 5 things I want to go over just quickly with you. The first thing about tax liens is it doesn't take a lot of money. The second one is how do I find these tax lien certificates? We'll show you how to find them at our free training. You can do it right from your own house. The third one is this is the safest place I have found to get double-digit rates of return. The reason that this strategy is so powerful is because the government mandates these returns. On average, we get 15, 16%, but there are some states where you can get a 25 to 30% mandated return. Fourth, there's really only two outcomes when you invest in tax lien certificates. You get a double-digit rate of return mandated by the government, or you have the right to acquire that property for a fraction of the value. It's why I think it's the safest and the least amount of risk of any investment I've ever seen. Now, the fifth one is that scalability. Doesn't matter where you start. Over the last 15 years, I've taught probably 40,000 investors how to buy different types of real estate. And I've never seen anything like this. You can start for a couple $100s, and then you can scale to 7 and 8 figures. Now, as a bonus, and this is probably my favorite part right here, is I get this question all the time. And I love this question. They say, Brian, if I make so much money in tax lien certificates, it creates a new problem. If I make that much money, I'm gonna have to pay a lot in taxes. To which I always respond, man, isn't that a great problem? But in reality, I'm going to show you how to mitigate that. One of the things that most people won't tell you is that you can actually buy tax lien certificates in your retirement account. You're getting the same tax benefits, but you're getting those state mandated double-digit rates of return. So that's what I'm going to invite you to do. Right below, there's a link. That link right there will register you and a friend. So you have 2 tickets to the upcoming free class. So I want you to click that link, get your tickets, and we'll see you there.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not with physical products. It's Amazon's other company, Audible. Audible pays me $8,000 to $10,000 every single month in passive income, and I'm not the only one. People like Katrina and Carla, Elena, Renee, all making thousands of dollars a month in passive income using the same system.
Just this past month, I reached $8,000 in revenue, and I'm on track to reach $10,000 in revenue this month.
I've been able to go from 0 to 22K in 7 months. And of course, this completely changed my life.
I do this on a part-time basis, about 5 to 10 hours a week. I earn about $40,000 a year. There's no other job that pays with that little time.
The best part is it's literally a done-for-you system. You're not buying any merchandise, you're not storing any merchandise, you're not shipping any merchandise, and you need 0 tech skills to get started in making thousands of dollars a month in passive income from Audible. Now, I wish I could say I'm the genius who discovered this method, but I'm not. I learned everything from the Mickelson twins. I took their free training, the same free training that's linked below, turned around and made my first $100 in 7 days. And you could be next. All you need to do is click the link and it'll take you to a free workshop where you'll learn the same done for you 4-step process that we are using to make thousands of dollars every month in passive income. The reason people are having such amazing results so fast is because hardly anyone knows about this. Look, you could ignore this just because it's an ad, or you can click the link below and find out why this 4-step process is working for so many people and why it can work for you. And just by clicking the link and watching the short training today, you're gonna get 3 bonuses that have not been offered before. So click the link to claim your bonuses and get in on the ground floor of this amazing opportunity for passive income. Look, the most important thing you can do right now is don't waste any more time. Click the link, go through the free training, and learn the 4-step process that is providing financial freedom for so many others. So click the link and I'll see you in the training.
What he was doing was empowering these powerful political groups, which were the priesthoods.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden you're saying you can have some kind of a direct relationship with the divine source of the cosmos, well, what do you need these little priesthoods for? And this is what sometimes confuses people in the Bible, because the great redaction, that change of the story, one layer of it was actually quite empowering. And it was the monotheistic layer that says there's only one God and source of the cosmos. Why bother with anything less than that? That's a very positive message. It's a very empowering message. And unfortunately, that all gets mixed in with the suppression of indigenous knowledge in the Bible.
Yes.
So it can be very complicated. But you can see in the Akhenaten story, you cannot separate religion from politics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As
Because
we
if you
found.
do, whoop, off with the head.
Exactly.
So it's pretty interesting. They all had these big egos. They, meaning these gods with a lowercase g, they were all kind of relatives of one another.
Yeah.
These advanced beings that showed up and engaged mankind according to the ancient text, not according to us. We're just interpreting what's already been written, right? And so they all began to go to war with one another, and they all wanted to gather control over the people and over the resources.
Yes.
Battle
Yes.
for resources.
And over each other.
Yeah.
I mean, who was going to be the top god, the top powerful one?
Yeah.
But I think they went to war for very similar reasons that we go to war with each other. It is they want control of the environment and they want to benefit from the resources.
Right.
And the human beings, unfortunately, get drawn into this. So you can't really understand the stories of Yahweh in the Bible until you realize that that's the picture, that you've got this plethora of powerful beings, the Elohim, who are competing with each other. And unfortunately, what's happened in the Bible is Elohim has been translated as God.
Yeah.
So all those wars become holy wars. And you then have to start agreeing with the one side, the Yahweh side. And to agree with him, you've got to agree with warfare. You've got to agree with scorched earth, infanticide, genocide.
Right.
And how on earth do you square that with having a clear conscience? Well, essentially, Christianity says, forget your conscience. Just do what you're told.
Do what you're told.
And
That's
agree
it.
with everything Yahweh does.
Don't question God.
Don't question God.
Yeah.
But really, the freedom is the moment you realize that Jesus was on about something completely different, you can then go back to the old stories and start evaluating the behavior of the characters.
Yeah.
If there's a genocide, call it that. If there's infanticide, call it that. If there's something abusive happening, call it that.
Yeah.
It leads nowhere good if you see something awful and then think you have to disregard it or call it holy.
Yeah, exactly. And so many people over many, many eons have taken and interpreted that script, that text, in a way that they justify murder, killing, abuse of rights, suppression, oppression, and of course, making themselves very, very wealthy by subjugating the people and taxing them and taking their food and everything else. And so we, it's this thing is mind blowing, because the deeper you dig into it and the more you read it and research it, the more you realize there's a lot of manipulation that has gone on for so long. It's almost now embedded and encoded in our DNA. It's no wonder why the majority of people fall right into this as soon as they're born. They're kind of it's kind of forced on them. Like I said, you're given a name, a race, and a religion, and you spend the rest of your life defending a false identity.
Yeah, that's right. And unfortunately, a lot of this thinking is built into how we read the words, because of bad translation choices.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to the gospel, you're looking at a Bible that looks like it's made up of two parts, Old Testament and New Testament. You assume it's the same God from start to finish that it's talking about, which it is not. And you get to the beginning of the gospel and you reach a phrase like this. Here's Jesus's first sermon that he toured with for 12 months, according to the Gospel of Matthew. We read the word, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And you hear those words and you think, oh, I know what they mean. Repent, well, I've obviously been very naughty and I need to stop being naughty. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand. God's about to show up and you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him.
Right.
That's what it sounds like.
Scary.
You go to the root meanings of those words. And what Jesus is actually saying is go beyond the mind, because all the powers and principles of the cosmos are available to you.
Now that's powerful.
Now that's powerful. And that's an invitation to explore what's possible for all of us.
Yes.
In another text, you can go to the Gospel of Thomas or to the Gospel of Matthew, and you've got the phrase, the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Yeah.
So that's the whole cosmic realm is inside you. That means if you look deeply inside yourself, you'll discover the cosmos. And if you look deep into the cosmos, you'll discover yourself.
Exactly.
There couldn't be a bigger invitation to explore than that. That's what Jesus is on about. And we distort it and lose it with these bad translation choices. Kingdom, well, that's all about obeying a king, isn't it? Repent, that's about saying sorry for offending the king. And we turn it into a religion that makes us tiptoe around for fear we're going to offend the Almighty, when in fact Jesus is wanting to empower us and uplift us and show us what's possible for humanity.
Exactly. Now, what's interesting is when you begin to look at some of the references to God in the Bible, and some of the original text, when I was researching this about maybe 8-9 years ago, I saw that some of the word God, some of the places where it says God, it's actually gods, but the S is missing.
Yeah.
It's also this monotheistic concept to usher in this one God thing. Like you say, Elohim, that's plural.
Yeah.
That's not singular, but they don't teach it that way.
No, they don't. So Elohim, you go to the root meaning, it's the powerful ones. And then El Elyon gets translated as God or the highest. You think you're reading about God. It doesn't mean that. It means the powerful one, more powerful than the others. You read El Shaddai. Often that's translated as the Almighty. But if you go to the New Jerusalem Bible, it will tell you squarely, or if you go to the Brown Drivers Briggs Hebrew lexicon, that's the most authoritative lexicon it is, that will tell you that's a false translation. That's made up. It doesn't mean the Almighty. It means the powerful one, the Destroyer, which is something completely different.
Yeah.
So if you're actually worshiping the Destroyer, just do the math. That's not going to work out.
It's not going to work out the best for you.
And then you've got the name Yahweh, which in some parts of the Bible is used to mean the God, the source of the cosmos. You go back to when Yahweh first shows up and you realize you're looking at a draconian entity, one of many Elohim, who's now going to go to war with each other for land and for resources. And if you and I get slaughtered in the process, it's too bad.
Exactly. We're just collateral damage.
We're just collateral damage.
Yeah.
So all those entities, they're not God.
Right.
And God is not in those early stories at all. We shouldn't be surprised because they're based on the Sumerian stories, which are not God's stories either.
Exactly.
So I think Bible translators have a lot to answer for in muddying the waters, making us think we're reading God's stories when we're actually reading stories about colonization, abuse, hidden hands in human politics, covert government, invasion.
Yes.
And also there's a positive side to it as well, because there are entities named who came for our benefit. So you come across Dagon, you come across Asherah.
That's right.
Here's a story of contact that's not invasion of the body snatchers, war of the worlds, horror. It's beings who have come because they love humanity. They want to support our progress. And again, I think there was a desire to move away from those narratives because it's simpler if you've got a narrative you can control. You know, one emperor, one god, one source of information. The ancients believed we all have potential contact experiences, that we have the attention of cosmic neighbors who want to help us as a species, but also help us individually as well.
Right, exactly. Enlightenment, like Thoth the Atlantean, right? So he calls himself an Atlantean priest king, and he literally goes around the planet teaching people, building techniques, alchemy, you know, from the land of Chem, chemistry out of the land of Chem, and many other things. And he's been all over the world, and everywhere he shows up around the world, it appears he's always teaching. You know, he could be possibly Wang Di, the first emperor of China, who appeared coming in on a flying dragon. And Australia, they call him Thoth Mabi. He taught and worked with the Aboriginals. Of course, you know, in Africa is Tahuti, Jehuti, Thoth. Into Mesoamerica, Quetzalcoatl, you know, Kukulkan. I mean, all these names is just like, but it's the same person that appears to be appearing all around the planet, but teaching wisdom, knowledge, understanding, building techniques, and everything else. So like you said, there are some that are here that came to uplift, help, and assist. Thoth says it's mankind's birthright to seek the light and to become the light.
Yes,
right?
Yes, that's right. Now, what's so fascinating about that tradition is that wherever that appears, you have an ascension tradition. You have people believing that through certain protocols and through seeking the truth, they can not only have a better understanding of things, but they can become more powerful and have a better, more conscious experience as a human being. Thoth is at the heart of wisdom traditions that we would call ascension traditions all around the world. And what's interesting is that weaves in through Christianity in a semi-covert way.
Yes, it does.
So it sort of keeps you'll read something, you think, wait a minute, is that guy doing Bible study or is he telling me something else?
Right.
And then you get to the 1200s, you reach the Cathars, and they were really the fruit of that tradition rooted in Thoth that existed within Christianity. And in the 1200s, there was a whole people group living in the Languedoc in the south of France who had translated that philosophy into a corporate way of life. So it wasn't just individuals seeking wisdom. They were transforming what human society looked like.
Right.
Now, Europe in the 1200s didn't look crash hot.
No.
Okay, people were sick, people were violent, people were poor. You went to the south of France, healthy, happy, wise, serene. And so, of course, the Roman Catholic Church responded by genociding them.
Of course.
Because here was a people group, again, who didn't depend on the power structures. They'd found a way to be healthier, happier, more conscious. And it was a threat to the powers that be who wanted to keep Europe feudal. Again, you know, the king and God at the top, everyone else paying and obeying.
Exactly.
But they had followed all the wisdom you can trace back to Thoth. And they had proved that it not only makes wiser individuals, it builds a better society.
Exactly. And when you build a better society, you don't need the kingpin at the top, like you say, right?
No.
And then also there's no fear in their hearts. And when there's no fear, you can't mold them.
Exactly. And that was very specific about them. They did not fear hell, which was the church's teaching. And on that basis, the church said the whole of Languedoc are heretics. So we got rid of them.
Exactly. Do you know a little bit about the papal inquisitions, which I think over the course of 700 years, close to 80 million people were tortured and killed to bring this concept of Christianity that obviously had Rome at the top?
Yes, well, it's a very dark topic that I have probed too deeply.
It is dark.
But the Cathars are really at the beginning of that process because it's estimated that up to 1 million people were genocided over the course of 19 successive popes. And they really set the tone. If you can do that in the name of God and get away with it and still be regarded as the Holy Father, we'll apply that elsewhere. And so when you get into the period of the Renaissance and you've got authority and other information emerging, you get someone like Giordano Bruno, who was not only talking about a populated universe, he was teaching people how to use their brains. At that point, they've evolved the Inquisition to a point where you identify any one of the following, anyone with information that's not going to help us, and then you put them on trial, you prove them guilty of various heresies, and you execute them in the most violent way possible for the public to see, send out a signal. You do not think for yourself, you do not repeat these ideas, you believe what we tell you. I mean, that's as recent as 1600. That's post the Renaissance. That was still going on because they were fighting for control. And it's a pattern, I think, in human governance that when authorities feel their power is slipping, that's when they get the most violent. I would say look up the killing of Giordano Bruno as an example of an exact pattern.
Oh, for sure, no doubt. A lot of, unfortunately, a lot of indigenous people suffer that fate. Will go to a village, take the chief or take, whoever was the head man or woman in charge, string them up right in front of everybody and torture them to death. And everybody, we speak our language, you follow this religion, or this will happen to you.
Exactly. And that was really the process of colonization in Central and South America. The priests were gotten rid of, and the king and queen, so they can now be governed by Portugal and Spain, and the Pope. And so all those authorities were gotten rid of, and their libraries were burned as well, which was a pretty emphatic signal. There's only one narrative now. Forget everything you thought you knew. We're going to tell you the truth. Your priesthood has now been replaced. Your schools have now been replaced. And you're all going to be Orthodox Christians. And it happens really whenever an empire takes somebody else's country. They just want to control the narrative. I say just want, but that's what it amounts to.
That's literally what it is.
To cultural genocide.
Yeah, it is. Wow. And this has gone on for so long. One big book heist, I believe, happened? The Library of Alexandria. I don't believe that all the books burned. I believe some books burned, but there was a distraction for a book heist. Probably the largest heist of knowledge in history.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and it's always been a mystery as to exactly how the entire library could disappear. And I think all sorts of false stories were put forward because anyone with a brain would know the value of what was there. And some of the knowledge that was lost, it took us best part of 1,000, 1,500 years to recover that level of understanding. So there were volumes in there that had calculated the mass of the planet and the size of the planet. How many centuries did it take before we recovered that information? And we've been able to piece together some of what was there because of quotations in other works. But it really was an attempt to take the sum of human knowledge back down to zero, so that an authority can now tell you what's what once again. And there's no alternative narrative to choose.
Do you think possibly, and it's honest answer, you always give an answer anyway, but behind the scenes, when things like this happen, like this whole Library of Alexandria and all these other pushes to indoctrinate people worldwide, do you think from behind the scenes that some of these beings could be pulling the strings in this current era?
It's possible, but I think it's easy to explain at a purely human level. So if you look at, for instance, when Yahwism took over, I don't think necessarily Yahweh was pulling those strings. I think the king who was a Yahwist and the high priest who was a Yahwist, they were pulling the strings. I'm not sure Yahweh himself was on the scene in that moment. He may have been. I'm certainly open to that thought because these beings.
It's a taught technique of taking power and control.
Exactly. So I think we've seen it done. It's a template. We repeat it.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's interesting. It's almost like we're an abandoned seed colony now on this planet. And we're just fending for ourselves.
Yes, but I do think there is an active non-human layer to the story. So I would go to the work of Robert Kirk, writing in the 1600s. Now, he's not the kind of guy you'd expect to start spouting paleo-contact because he was a Presbyterian minister in the 1600s. So that's conservative on about 3 counts. What he did was listen to the indigenous narratives, the Celtic people of Aberfoyle in Scotland. And he started hearing abduction narratives. He joined the dots. He wrote a book called The Secret Commonwealth. And what he said in that book is that no understanding of the world is complete until you realize there is a non-human layer to governance. You have visible government, and you've got covert government. You've got the elites pulling strings on covert government, and then you've got non-human entities in communication with the elite.
I believe that 1,000%.
Now, if that was true in 1600, you can bet your bottom dollar it's true today. You can find the same pattern in the Bible, as I showed, even conspiracy, and you can find it all around the world.
Because there's behind the scenes, behind the veil manipulation that continues on an ongoing basis. It's really amazing and a testament to human beings that we are right now where we are as a species. I mean, technically, if you look at everything that's already happened on this planet, we shouldn't even be here.
Yeah, that's right. So much awful stuff been done to human beings through the ages. And we were saying the other day about the plagues. Do you remember? We are descendants of those who survived the plagues. That's how strong we are. We're stronger than our ancestors because we've actually survived.
We're the stronger ones. We are we're bred to be strong because we survived the bubonic plague, the black plague, right? Exactly. Those two almost wiped everybody out. Just those things alone. If it was going to be the end of days, that should have been the end of days at that moment.
That's right. At the Spanish flu.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, that was crazy.
20 million at the beginning of the 20th century. Right. So there's a lot that's come against us. All kinds of political manipulations to keep ordinary human beings super stressed, sick, so they can easily be managed, and yet look at where we are. Not only have we survived, but we're getting wise to what the story is, and we're getting wise to how do you and I thrive in this world. You and I might not be able to dislodge non-human layer or in the 1%, but we can learn to be more conscious, more healthy, and to thrive in this world even as it is.
Exactly, and that itself becomes contagious. Because people see it, we become the lighthouse, and they say, oh, I can do that too. Let me just listen to what they have to say. Let me duplicate what they're doing. And all of a sudden, before you know it, more people are doing the same thing. More people are asking questions. More people are reaching. More people are looking within. It's pretty interesting. One of the biggest topics that I've dug into, in the last decade has been the Apocrypha text. Can you describe for the viewers what is Apocrypha text?
Yes. The Hebrew canon, what we call the Old Testament, evolved in several stages. So you start off with the stories of beginnings, the Abraham stories, and they were the summary forms in Sumerian narratives. And then they got to laws brought in, scriptures were written to justify the laws by which the people were governed. And then added to that was worship material that laid a religious gloss over all that, and it evolved and it evolved, and it became known as the Hebrew canon, which formed in the 6th century BCE as we know it. At that time, all those scriptures were gathered together and they were rewritten so that it looks like a seamless story of God from beginning to end. And that's when then Yahweh was pasted on the whole thing to try and make it uniform. And then between that period, at a time when Jesus shows up, more scriptures were being written. And there came a moment when it was decided by the leading party of scribes, we'll do another rewrite now. Because there's such a difference from monotheism, we can market religion, because it's become a religion by this point, to the world. People want monotheism, we'll give them our monotheism. So write it in Greek and include some of these books. What's so interesting about these later books is that they're a bridge between the worldview of the Hebrew canon and international thought as it was at the time. And so you're beginning to get new ideas coming in about what is the human soul? What is consciousness? Did we exist before we lived on this earth? Do we exist after we die? And what are these other beings that people have in contact with, these angelic experiences? All those are now in these texts. You can read them and you can hear the influence of international thought. When you get to Jesus, the people who wrote for Jesus, whenever they quote the Old Testament, as we'd call it, they're quoting that Greek translation with all the extra books in it as well. And that became as the Septuagint, it's written as LXX. So you would think that would be the Bible everyone would be reading. But Jesus quotes from it and his apostles quote from it. Surely that's the one we'll read.
It's significant.
It's significant. It's seen as authoritative. Except that you get some way in Christian history and Jewish authorities say, we don't like the Greek ideas. Let's pair this back to that simple Yahwism we had before, that pyramid shape. It's all about authority, obedience, worship. We like that better. So they pair it back to that. And then Christianity does the same in its own history. It pairs it because ultimately it was now being ruled by an empire that wanted exactly the same thing. Emperor, God at the top, bishops, landlords in the middle, and the people at the bottom just paying, praying, and obeying. And so we lose those other books with all the other insights in them about popular cosmos, contact for you and me, ascension traditions, contact with other kinds of being. And so we lose what was really a very diverse education that was on offer. but you can still buy it.
You can buy it.
Still
You can
buy
get
it, still read
the
it.
full Apocrypha. I have it here in my house. You can get the full Apocrypha instead of buying all the I bought it initially with all the individual books years and years. Now you can buy one book with all the Apocrypha that was kept. These are the old books of the Bible. You can buy them on Amazon. You can go to the Barnes and Noble store, have one of those, buy it at the bookstore or whatever. But you can get the Apocrypha text and you can read this for yourself. I was really impressed by the book of Adam and just reading the way he took the expulsion from the Garden of Eden. And what he went through mentally and the trauma that he went through psychologically, man, it was like gut-wrenching. Pretty interesting stuff.
It's interesting you mentioned because there's so many other layers in the other sort of forbidden books, and the same could be said of the books included from the New Testament, Gnostic texts.
Yes,
where again you've got something that's so much more rounded in its understanding of the human condition, the nature of the cosmos, the psychology of people, and I mean, I love the canonical Gospels, but we're missing so much if we don't read the Gnostic texts as well. Not just the Gnostic texts like the Gospel of Thomas, which isn't Gnostic, it's probably earliest testament to the teaching of Jesus.
Absolutely.
And once we had started covering a lot of these texts, Nag Hammadi finds, we remembered that in the beginning, Christianity was a kaleidoscope of views, experiences, ideas, theologies, before it got bared down to this worship and obedience.
And to make it clear to everyone, of course, this man, you're talking about a reverend here, still talking about the plurality of the world and extraterrestrial life existing and somehow engaging mankind. But we're not saying they don't believe that God exists. I mean, clearly this man was in church for many years. I believe that God as well. I think that the quantum physics proves that we're living in a creation and that entity that built this creation. And I truthfully believe it deep down in the soul.
Quantum is fascinating because you remember what I was saying earlier about Jesus saying the cosmic rose inside you.
Yes, you're talking about fractals.
You're talking about a fractal universe. You're talking about quantum phenomena. And I find the quantum physics really exciting because it, from time to time, really has to reach for God language.
It does. Oh, it does.
Explain what's happening.
For sure it does. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of quantum physicists can't argue the fact they believe that there is a God because
Step into Wix Studio, the web creation platform built for agencies.
the fingerprint of the creator is on everything. Literally, no matter where you look, you see, you were looking for the circumstantial evidence of a crime scene of creation. And you look into the quantum realm, and then you look even into the mathematical realm, pi, and all of that. All of a sudden, you discover, wow, there's a fingerprint left behind that is a finger of the creator. And so,
now, unfortunately, some people hear that, they'll be disturbed.
Yeah.
Because if you attach that to the word God will suddenly activate ideas of fear, judgment, hell. I've got to get it right. I'm in trouble if I get it wrong. And if I use the word God, I always have to clarify what I mean.
Yeah.
And I love the way the Apostle Paul did that in Acts 17. He's got a very definite God, which is not a puppet master. It's not akin to be made. He says, my God, and the Greek word is theos. By God, I mean the source of the cosmos and everything in it, that in which we all live and move and have our being, of which we are all offspring. What I love about it, there's no separation anxiety in that. And I think most manipulative religion trades on separation anxiety.
Yes.
You're going to hell, you're in trouble, you're not in God's good books. We'll show you how to claw your way back into his presence, which involves giving us money.
Of course. You've got to bring us your best and bring all money with you too.
Exactly. And all that, unfortunately, is associated with the word God for a lot of people. So, I mean, my wife Ruth doesn't use the word God. She always talks about divine intelligence. Often I'll just talk about source, because that's what I mean by God. And it might sound a little impersonal until you realize that, for instance, what Paul is saying is that your mind is participation in the divine mind.
Correct.
Your consciousness is an emanation of divine consciousness, which means you can fully expect the most incredible divine things happen simply because you are a fractalization of the divine source.
We are part of the divine force. And this divine energy that permeates and imbues everything in the entire universe has fractalized itself into Googles of entities, right? So it can experience itself objectively. And fractal, of what I just said, the proof of it is my body and your body is made of what? Atoms. And so if you were to look inside of an electron microscope at an atom, just a bunch of atoms observing itself, trying to figure out what it is. Yeah. See, so if you take it to that method or that conceptual idea, you'll see that everything is fractal, as above, so below, Hermetic principles.
That's right. And I love that. It took a bit of reframing for me because I'd lived so long with puppet master image of God.
Right.
Then when I realized that I could be in a situation and I could say, God, what do you make of this? Knowing that God was observing the situation I was observing because I was observing.
Exactly.
He observed it through my eyes. And if I would say, God, what do you make of this? There'd be an answer. There would be wisdom. And the way that's impacted my prayer life is I ask God questions. I find I get answers super fast. And the answers are mind-blowing. Sometimes I'll say, team, can you help me with this? Because I found that God, the source of the cosmos, can express himself through Billy, through that plant, through a beautiful dog, through a song coming on the radio. It really is kind of a universe that God's source imbues everything. And so you couldn't be more intimately involved with the divine life of the cosmos than you already are. It's a matter of waking up to that, beginning to enjoy it, and follow that invitation of Jesus, knowing that the principles are available for you to start playing with and exploring.
I hope you guys are listening to this incredible discussion that I'm having with an actual reverend. A man who's been in the church 33 years, is now a 4-time best-selling author. Make sure you get Eating Conspiracy on Amazon and check out his other 3 books to go along with it. And a 5th book is on the way soon. Kind of running out of a bit of time here, but man, how about we wrap this? What's something you can tell the listeners that gives them some inspiration?
I think something that a lot of us have learned for the last few years, we've had a lot of negativity broadcast to us. And I'm finding that here on the TV. There's such anxiety, every commercial break. And a lot of us have learned that we have to be intentional about our emotional state and our state of mind. So before you step out of the bathroom having brushed your teeth, before you step out of the front door, you decide, what energy am I bringing to others today? What do I want people to feel when if they're intentional about it, high emotion, they'll choose a high vibration. And when you start giving that out to other people, you get it back. You smile at someone, they'll smile back. You compliment someone, they'll compliment you back. And all of a sudden, you're having a good day because you've made that decision. By every signal you're getting off the cover, everything you hear on radio, everything on the TV, get intentional, and you begin to alter your experience of life from day to day. I found it to be a really powerful and elevating truth.
Incredible, incredible. Where can everyone find you?
Go to fifthkind.tv. You can find me on YouTube on the Paul Wallace channel at Fifth Kind. If you're interested in doing coaching, you can come to paulanthonywallace.com and go to Amazon and Kindle for the Eden series and the most recent one, Eden Conspiracy, covering much of what we discussed today and many more things.
Absolutely. Behind the scenes, thank you for tuning in. This is Forbidden Knowledge, Show What I Love. Peace.
There's a place where global markets are always open, where you can explore and discover innovative new offerings and hundreds of trading products right at your fingertips. That's SIBO, the exchange for the world stage.
And there's so many people, they want to demonize technology and social media. That's not the real this, that, or the third. No, it actually is. Using your mind is always the real work.
Exactly.
Creating creative agency so that you can develop strategy so that you can win this war whatever means necessary. When Malcolm X said it didn't just mean about a window with a gun looking at the blinds for the enemy to kill him in his own. He meant utilizing all the resources, time, and energy that you have in order to change reality. Right? And so there's too many people, they're comfortable with the tool. You become corrupt. You develop this ideology in who you continue to increase, and when you see somebody doing it a different way, oh, they like me, that's all. They figuring out the any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? We gonna use technology, we gonna use AI, we gonna use blockchain. If we got to use crypto, we use the enemy, we gonna use everything because we got to get to some freedom.
I appreciate my pops for teaching me how to be a guy.
I'm a bunch of man and ultimately back to natural state and to a God.
As God, supposed to always move with that higher self. I have to be able to execute. Having knowledge is not power. The execution of knowledge is power.
Knowledge makes a man fit to be a slave.
Because the only real knowledge you can get is knowledge of self.
Level.
level is ownership. The highest level is power. The highest level is sovereignty. The highest level is higher consciousness. The highest level is we own our own culture.
That's a very high level. Not high level. A high level.
It's somewhat high level conversation.
Here for the high level conversation. High level conversation. Peace, family, 19 Kings. Welcome back to another high level conversation. Today, we are back with a 3-time hitter. This the first time somebody on the show. We've done a little show, and of course we. And there's so many people that in the demon.
A couple years ago, I ended up in a motorcycle accident. The kicker was I didn't have health insurance at the time.
Hey.
Hello.
All right. Introduce yourself.
Hey, welcome to Biohacking Best Life. My name is Elizabeth.
And I'm Billy, aka 4-Minute Knowledge. All right. It's been a minute since we've been on, guys. What has been going on?
A long time, actually.
Yeah, we're getting back into the groove, man. We're getting back into the groove. Somebody said, "What up, though?"
What up, though? Always. What up, though?
Yeah.
What's up? Great. How you doing? I'm here in Florida now. Luckily, the hurricane has missed us.
Yeah, yeah. We were very fortunate.
Yeah,
yeah,
very much.
It literally scraped right by us. We caught the outer band of the hurricane, which gave us gusts maybe up to like 40, 50 miles an hour at the highest, and at the lowest, on average, 15, 20 miles an hour.
Really? I think a little stronger.
You think it was?
Yeah, I mean, it got a little.
It's your first time in a hurricane.
Yeah, no, I was terrified. Listen, we don't have no hurricanes in Detroit. I was scared. I was like, okay, what do I do?
Yeah, no.
But it was just like a very big storm in Detroit.
Yeah. It was a good storm. We never lost power. We never lost internet. So we're blessed. The good thing about this area that we're in is all the electricity underground, all the cable TV and phone lines, all the wiring and infrastructure is all underground.
Yeah.
The way that it was pre-planned and built to withstand different types of storms and hurricanes.
Yeah.
It's also on an elevation so that you can prevent flooding, and the entire house is concrete block, poured concrete inside, and steel reinforced rebar.
Yeah.
Plus Hurricane 5 category hurricane windows, Hurricane 5 category doors, and garage doors.
Yeah.
So we're in a fortress, literally.
Yeah, it was really funny. You were doing the lymph and brain training, and I was setting you up, and I'm like, why are you whistling? What are you doing? Why are you whistling right now? It's not like my son, because my son sometimes he whistles a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what are you doing now?
That was a wind beating up the house. Yeah. It could have been, maybe it could have been, but on our wind is pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Consistent flow, 50 mile an hour.
Oh no, it looked very scary for me.
Yeah.
I was up staring outside like you were snoring, and I was like,
yeah, I'm used to it. I've seen some hurricanes.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
So today we're in Orlando and never lost power or internet. That's great.
Awesome.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were fortunate. The people that took direct hit over in Fort Myers, that area. Unfortunately, that city was planned with no drainage, so they got hit pretty hard because there's nowhere for the water to go. The water just kept building up, flooding people's houses.
Yeah. Awful. There was alligators swimming and sharks swimming in the street.
Yeah.
Because the ocean came onto the to the city.
Came right. Surge came right.
Yeah.
Pretty scary. But yeah, when you build a city, you have to plan for the future.
Yeah.
A genius solves a problem before it happens. Never forget.
Yeah.
You got to pre-think all the potential events, especially geological disasters, and plan for that when you build a city.
Yes.
All right, cool. So what are we talking about tonight?
Okay, so we took a second to be able to come up with this title, but we wanted to definitely do a podcast about the mouth and teeth because it's so very important. It's so important.
Yes.
So, where do we start? Where do we even start? Because there's so much that goes into it. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it's just so much information I have in my brain. So how to start? You can ask me questions.
Yeah, I think let's kind of start with as being a former chef and what you studied when you went to culinary school.
Okay.
What did you learn about sanitation? What did you learn about meats and the bacteria and how fast bacteria develops on not just meat, any food that you eat out?
Okay, so basically within when I became a chef, it's required that you get your sanitation license. So you have to go through this class and make sure you know everything about sanitation. And basically, I learned it terrified me kind of away from food almost. But the thing that I remember the most is the fact that bacteria will exponentially increase after 4 hours in the danger zone. Now, the danger zone is where from 60 degrees probably to about 150, I would say. So if you're at a barbecue with family and there's food sitting out all day and you don't have that food inside Tupperware, these sheet pans with fire underneath that are keeping them above danger zone temperature, then after 4 hours, the bacteria on that food will exponentially increase. So, I mean, it's really, really crazy because you're ingesting that. So not only is that food touching your mouth, going into the vessel inside your mouth, but now it's going into your gut. So you're getting basically a mouthful of bacteria after food has been staying in danger zone over 4 hours. So that's just an overload to your system of toxic cells. Just gross. I mean, nastiness. So
and does it apply to meat and vegetables?
anything that's not shelf stable, which we don't even eat that much stable foods because preservatives. If something, okay, so you leave a hamburger outside from McDonald's, right? You leave it on the counter for freaking 10 years. That thing does not disintegrate. It doesn't break down. So what do you think that's doing inside your body? You think that's good for your body? It's not not good for your body. So you have to be very, very careful with this type of health because another fact, 70% of autoimmune disease begins in the mouth. 70%. So that means most people that have an autoimmune issue, it stems from something having to do with mouth. And that makes all the sense in the world because you have those bacteria in your mouth. You have the widest microbiome in your mouth. You have more different cells, microbes, bacteria, fungus, viruses in your mouth than you do your butt.
Yeah, that's incredible. Wow.
I mean, in the first side, come out the other side, but that makes more sense when you think about it logically because everything touches mouth, right? When you swallow 10 spores of mushrooms, like every time someone takes a deep breath, you're swallowing spores of mushrooms, and that's just tiny little baby particles in the air. There's all this other gas, all this other like virus, everything that you're all taking in the air, stuff in your mouth. Yeah,
consistently. And what's interesting is these food as it begins to create this or grow this bacteria on it as it's sitting out and aging, it then can cause the autoimmune response in the body. Now, can you explain to some people who don't really understand what is autoimmune response? So
basically, when your body starts to shut off something that's going on within itself, right? So it's basically called, okay, so let's compare it to a fire. So a fire will start out like a little tiny fire in the wood. If you get to that fire right away and stop that fire out, okay, boom, done, over it. But when you're overloaded with a bunch of sparks, right? How are you going to put all of this fire out? And your body sometimes, you know, in the case of now, because we're not grounded anymore, so we can automatically put out these fires because that's what we're trying to do and feed ourselves what they need to have to basically function correctly. So if you don't have that, which none of us are grounded anymore, then your body's going to become full of inflammation. So you're already inflamed because you're not grounded. Now you're overly inflamed because when you start to try to put out those fires go out. Now your cells are ripping electrons from different cells, which is causing more fire. So it never ending. So when things start in the mouth, right? You start with, let's say, I don't know, like that 10 spores of mushrooms went into my lungs, right? If that spore was poisonous, then my body would create an immune response and try to fight that spore and kill that spore, right? So if your body doesn't have the right stuff to feed what it needs to function correctly, though, then you're not going to put out that fire. So it's going to be in drought and then turn to other problems. Because inflammation is the basis of all autoimmune diseases.
Which can lead to things like lupus,
fibromyalgia, turns to lupus, that turns to MS.
Hives,
all that.
rashes, skin rashes, eczema, and the other one besides eczema, there's no psoriasis.
To the liver. So it's not really that's like over drinking. That's too much toxic burden to the liver, and it's really alcohol poisoning. That actually.
Oh, that's incredible.
Cirrhosis, psoriasis.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, cirrhosis of the liver. No, psoriasis is skin artery.
Right.
I read that in the encyclopedia. So psoriasis is what comes from the liver. And, so this. But the thing about it is this. I'm gonna show you this photo, guys. Check this photo out. This is rotten food. Okay. Now, and I'm gonna answer this question too.